Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Welcome back to another Wiretap Weekend, but it isn't a Wiretap Weekend. What we're doing is something different this weekend. We're giving you some inside videos from my time housed at Anaheim PD, and a lot of people have asked about what your daily routine was. What was your daily routine, Rene? What did you do? What was your workout? Well, you're going to see it right now because I took some video one time of me working out in the gym, and I'm rambling with thoughts because that's usually what I do when I work out. I think about a bunch of stuff and I process my day or whatever's going through my head. I used to record as my part of my diaries. So I want you to enjoy that. Hope you do. We got some video for you here along with some audio. Just thought we'd change it up because Wiretap Weekend was getting a little stale. We're going to come back to it. But I wanted you to see this. And let me know what you think. If you want to see more of it, let me know in the comments. As always, folks, I want to remind you, call to action. Watch the video in its entirety. There's a variety of different ways you can support the channel. You could hype the video, you could give a thumbs up, you could leave a comment, but most importantly, watch it in its entirety. That's important, right? But if you can, become a member of the channel or join Patreon, because we have Rene Enriquez Uncensored on Patreon, where we show video and audio and pictures that we don't post up on YouTube. So with that said, I hope you enjoy the video, folks. We're here for the weekend warriors, for those truckers, those moms, those day workers, those people who are sleeping in, those people who are hungover, the warriors, the wives, the husbands, all of you, even for the moms out there. All right, folks, have a wonderful Sunday. Let's watch the video. I'm locked in the gym now. I'm going to see if I can get a little video so you can see what the gym is about. I'm moving around because the gym is about 20 feet by 10 feet. It's the size of like a twice the length of a normal cell. Like a regular jail cell. I have 1 hour to go. Let's see what the time is. I don't really have a clock here. But I do have the monitor on the 20 minutes and 49 seconds on the recorder. I have the monitor on the recorder. Excuse the handling noises. So this is really my only source of outdoor recreation that I get. Well, not even outdoor, it's indoor. I don't leave the jail at all. I don't leave the jail proper unless I'm under guard, armed guard. It's like a SWAT team will come get me. It's undercover task force guys, but they have like M4s and boomers, like shotguns, and they're heavily armed. This is not an easy thing to take from point A to point B. It just doesn't happen that way. Okay, so I'm giving you an audio and visual of the jail. So I mean the gym. So I'm setting up my weights right now because I'm going to do weights. And the gym is very simple. It's not a big complex place. It's an empty cell that they converted to a gym. There's no outdoor lighting. It's all indoors. And, it's, we have a very limited assortment of weight equipment and exercise equipment. So you see it. This is the exercycle right here. That's my favorite, is the bike over there. And that's the weights right here. The rack. We have these artificial weights, which are water bottles, and we have a kettlebell. And it's a solid door here. And you can see it's just a cell, a converted cell. We have weights, elliptical machine, bike. So this is how it is. This is essentially the workout spot. And this is where I come to diffuse. We have bands over there. So it's like an elongated cell, and it's where I come to do the workout. So, you know, I try to get out here a few times every week. It's just important so that I could lose that stress. You know, the stress is the killer. Like I was telling Mrs. Conklin, it's just not easy to deal with all these things that my wife and I have been dealing with over the past couple of months. It's just not easy at all. Okay, I think that will about get me into the frame there with the camera on the bike. I did this last week and I was out of frame, so I'm trying to stay in frame here. Let's try it here. Better. I only have like 10 minutes of video time, so I want to show you on the bike. I want you to show me. I wanted to show me on the bike, and I'm recording my shots, so I'm doing the audio and the visual. Okay, one more adjustment and we're ready to go. That's him, Jim. So, this is my workout area. I try to come here at least, you know, it's okay, so this is the gym. I select my workout and I start. Actually, I'll do prep run today. I enter my time. I'll enter my age. It gives me my target heart rate. But anyway, this is the one place I come where I can diffuse. I can completely relax. I can let go. I can burn off that stress, and I need that. You know, at least a few times every week. I do work out in the cell frequently. It's just important to get the stress out, like the stresses that Mrs. Conklin and I were talking about. So, it's important for me to do that. Because I'm sedentary most of the day, and I build up that stress, thinking about all these different things that I have to deal with. All the normal stresses of jail while dealing with this parole thing. So this has been like a heaven sent here. This gym is wonderful. When they first brought me here 2.5 years ago, they told me there was a gym. I was shocked. Because the feds only have gyms. Other prisons have like bars, and they don't have any exercise equipment. But the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, Federal Bureau of Prisons, they have gyms like this. And this is the kind of equipment they have. Racks and weights and elliptical machines and exercises. And I was never really a big workout fanatic, not in my early years in prison. It was only in my latter years, like right before I dropped out, that I really started working out. But I guess the stress levels have become so high, so I found that this exercise is cathartic. I mean, I find it harder and harder to lose weight and maintain body shape, given that I'm 52. I don't have the body of a 30-year-old anymore. I think that's just a reality. But the exercise helps me maintain that sanity level, you know? I don't want to become angry. I don't want to become frustrated. I don't want to become one of those guys that cannot sleep, that's on the verge of a heart attack every week, you know? And this helps me lose myself. And I I used to play my music, but don't be too loud. I don't want it to obstruct, my recording. But I used to play my music, and it's in the same technique that I used, at the bay when I was running laps. I use here. That's the same essential technique that I use here. I am literally using that workout technique where I'm visualizing myself in another arena. Like when I was in the bay, I would picture myself while jogging. They had this little jogging area. It's called the dog run. When I was there, I would picture myself running in circles in the yard. And that was pretty boring. Really, it was really boring. But as I was running, we do a few hundred laps. Trying to make sure this angle's right. But as I was running, doing the laps, I realized that it was just boring. Running. So I envisioned myself running down the streets of my own neighborhood in Cerritos, California, or Artesia. And I actually recorded it on my last documentary. But now I do it with this exercise equipment. And now that they've given me the possibility of parole, and it's coming up pretty quick, I envision myself at the gym in a spinning class with a bunch of different people. I can hear them breathing heavy, and the music's going, and I pick up the tempo. As the music elevates, as the tempo rises, my pedal becomes harder. And I see myself interacting with all these people. Now I'm figuring that this is part of the visualization process that I'm going through. I'm imagining it, so when I come to it, I won't be so startled by it. So I think a lot of things are going to shock me. One of the officers told me the other day that it's going to be culture shock. And he suggested, Mr. Wardle, he suggested that I go camping for a few days and just defuse, just unwind. Mrs. Conklin says that, oh, by the way, Mrs. Conklin's husband's an officer here as well. He's a patrol officer, so, she's one of the, like I said, easiest going jailers here, but very security conscious, very conservative, just a good person to be around, One of those people that will speak to you from their heart and tell you the way it is, exactly. No cutting corners, there's no BS with her. But she also said that I need to go, just in this interview with it, I need to go get away and defuse. So I see myself in this visualization process. If I'm riding the bike, I can see myself by my wife's house, riding down the major thoroughfare. Running a half hour out, then I see the half hour mark, a half hour back in. And I'm passing cars, seeing people going to work, frustrated, seeing people walking or jogging early in the morning. And I'm wearing a little helmet. I wore my workout clothes. I have my little water bottle. And I'm just riding, taking it all in. Whereas most people see this thing, exercise, waking up early in the morning, as a curse, I'm going to see it as a blessing. But I can already visualize it. Being out there, getting out in the streets early in the morning before people get up, going for a bike ride with the dog. We have a dog named Ziggy. He's a pit bull chocolate lab mix. And he's a beast. But he's a puppy, he's just a baby, and he's lovable. He's not aggressive, he's none of those things that are normally associated with pit bulls. And I can't wait to take him for walks. And get him to obey. Sit, heel, don't pull on the leash, don't take off running every chance he gets. I want him to be a good dog, so my wife can take him on runs. So my wife can take him on walks. It's and I envision that too when I'm on the exercise cycle. I envision that every day will be something different. At the gym, on the bike. And like I said, I come here, this is a complete stress reliever. This is where, you know, I can let it all out. I can ride, I can sweat, I can burn off my anger, my frustration. You know, it's a therapeutic thing for me. Everybody needs something, whether it's a workout, like Scott was saying, a hobby, a devotion, a job that they enjoy, something they're passionate about. This is my little thing right here. That video games, I enjoy video games, I tell you. I have a video game system that's hooked up to my computer. It's actually embedded in my computer, it's installed in my computer. With handheld controllers and all that, and I really enjoy just losing myself in the fog of war. Where I'm in there, I'm a soldier, I'm fighting, battling monsters, whatever fantasy world it is, it takes me away from here. I've often said that if you give inmates video games in their cells, you'll reduce violence by at least 50%. They'll be so absorbed in it. It's such a fascinating realm. At least 50%. They'll be so absorbed in it. It's such a fascinating realm that I love it. I mean, the games are so realistic, some of them are so interactive. I mean, I like the first-person shooters, but I think I like role-playing games as well. Some of the fantasy games, they're pretty interesting. You know, there's a couple of them that I really enjoyed. You know, and you lose yourself in them for hours and hours on end. In fact, I was watching House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, and he becomes the president. But during that process, to de-stress, he's playing the same games I'm playing. I've seen it. He has a PS Vita just like me. He has a game console just like me. And I'm telling you, it's so therapeutic to jump on the computer or jump on your little game handheld console and play. Because you lose touch with everything. Like here, I'm not in jail right now. I'm burning off calories. And as I burn off calories, as I feel my body warming up, as I start to respirate, I know the stress is evaporating little by little. But this is really it. This is one of the drawbacks of being housed in a location like this for so long. Is you're isolated, extreme isolation. Those interactions with the officers, but only human interactions. No other inmates. I'll see my wife once every 2 weeks, once every month sometimes, you know, for an hour, hour and a half. And that's the limitation of my interaction. So, gosh darn it. All right, the camera stopped, so I don't know how much I got or how much I didn't. That's the worthless camera the thing is. So I'm gonna start some weights. Get some weights done. You know, what I want to catch is just different aspects of the workout. I did about 2.5 miles to warm up on the bike. And now I'll start with the weights, just to capture some of the thoughts and the things I do to work out and burn out the stress, you know. And this is a pretty quick workout. I mean, it's not really physically draining. It is at times. But this is a quick one. I'm going to do anaerobic, a little cardio, a little resistance, some dips, some push-ups, and I have 1 hour to accomplish it. And because I told Mrs. Conklin that I would be done in 1 hour, so this is the way I burn off my stress. effective method when I'm caught in the house all day. It helps me maintain my sanity level. And like I said, one of the drawbacks of being housed in complete isolation is that there's very little interaction with other individuals, particularly inmates. There's no inmate interaction. That is just the way it is. You know, it is done that way to protect my identity and provide for security. So that's why it's done. In fact, I have a sign in front of my cell that says no inmates beyond this point, staff only, and nobody can come past that point. So, I mean, my interactions are limited. I have the staff members, I have my wife that I can call, my handlers, and that's it. And I only see staff, you know, they do the walks every hour to prevent, it's suicide prevention. 72 hours in any level 1 facility is probably the highest risk for inmates committing suicide. Well, I've been in 25 years now, so I'm not going to commit suicide. But the other inmates, they do. They try. Some inmates are successful. I don't think that there's ever been a suicide here at this jail. I know there's only been one inmate death, but it's in every jail. Inmates die in every jail. They come in with pre-existing health conditions, and it's just unpredictable. So, you know, they have to do the walks. Security walks, they're called. Suicide prevention, institutional security. But even when they do the walks, I don't stop them and talk to them. I mean, they have a job to do. They have so many things. They're overwhelmed with bookings, processing, inmate supplies, all those things they have to do. And they don't have time to sit back and hold my hand because I'm hurting for conversation. So I find my own world. This is my own world. I create my own world. And you have to maintain that sanity in prison. Everybody has to form this little cocoon where it's their environment, particularly in the SHU. You have to combat the degradation. Because, I mean, if you allow yourself to succumb to depression and those kind of things, not that the SHU creates those environments, but some people have a genetic predisposition to become depressed, to allow the effects of isolation to exacerbate pre-existing conditions. So you can't allow that to happen. And what you do is you create your world. And it's not a fantasy world, it's a real world. Like this. This is my gym. This is where I come to work out. This is where I come to fantasize about society. This is a place I come to fantasize about all kinds of things. This is a place I come to diffuse my tension, to allow that to dissipate and evaporate through working out. It lowers my stress. And it's a successful therapy for me. It works. It works for me well. And so I love this gym. I love working out. I mean, I've never been a real health fanatic. So anyway, that's about it for the day. I've been working out and, you know, I've caught a little bit on video for you. I've showed you my gym. You see what it's about, and you see where I come to diffuse and imagine about how things will be when I get out, how to resolve my stress issues here, how to maintain my sanity. This is a place where I do it. I guess this is kind of like my temple. The gym is my temple. Alright, that will do it for the day. I'll continue audio recording though, because my video card's full, my memory card's full, and it keeps shutting down on my camera. What I'm doing now is I'm taking stills of the gym to give you an image. I mean, you have the videos, you have everything else, of the cameras, of everything. I just want you to absorb the whole environment just to see where I live. Now, if I move, they get all blurry, so I gotta stay absolutely still. I go to the back here and take some from the back. It's just a cell again that's been converted, and it works really well because the trustees use it. There are a couple other inmates in my situation that use it as well. I mean, I don't interact with them. I don't know who they are. I've seen them in passing. We don't pay attention to each other. We don't salute each other. We don't do anything like that. So I'm gonna do the music now. Ride my bike again. This helps me get into the groove. And I'm moving the mic over here close to me. I apologize for the handling noises. I'm gonna stabilize the microphone so it's not moving. In fact, if I put it here in front of me, there will be no movement. So this is, again, I lose myself in this. And talking kind of distracts me from it because I'm usually silent and I'm dripping sweat by now. But that's not the case today. I'm trying to take you through and walk you through what I do. I'm trying to kind of put you in my mind frame when I'm here. How I start my day, how I go about my day. You know, the things that occur in my daily life that are kind of like yours, but not truly, because I'm extremely confined. That's just something that I try to maintain this normalcy to average individuals. You know, I want to talk about something too. Let me turn this down. One of the things that I've noticed, my wife works in the legal field, works for a prestigious law firm. Every time I get off this thing and I let it sit for a minute, I have to restart it. So she works for a law firm where there are a lot of monkey mucks, former federal prosecutors, former district attorneys, you know, high-powered attorneys. These are high-powered attorneys in a white-collar world. And I am interlaced throughout that entire world. I mean, I do expert witness in all the legal cases. Her firm doesn't handle those kind of cases, but their associates do. So it's been a monumental effort to suppress my identity to her bosses. Not that I've done anything wrong or unethical, but I don't want to take my wife's work or profession with who I used to be. In fact, I told my wife, I told her, I said, if I ever get a case that involves your firm, I'll recuse myself from the case, just to avoid conflict of interest. I don't want there to be a conflict of interest, but most importantly, so as your employers want to understand that you're married to a former mobster. You know, I just didn't want to do that to her, and she wasn't overly concerned. She said, "Look, if it comes out, I'll explain to my bosses who you are. You're my husband, and I love you." She said, "I won't advertise it, but my private life is my private life. And I can't see how it affects my profession because it never has. And it never has. What I do doesn't affect what my wife does. And but it's always a concern. It's always a concern because, you know, the legal field is a small world. Everybody knows everybody. People talk, attorneys talk. And of course it's supposed to be this confidentiality rule, but it's really not. So surprisingly, we've been able to do it. For the past 10 years, keep my relationship with my wife quiet, you know, in that aspect. I mean, there are some defense attorneys that try to dig into my marriage, and I think that's a sleazy tactic and an effort to intimidate me or my wife, which really only motivates me more to continue in the case. I will not let some sleazeball, ambulance-chasing mob attorney to make me afraid. I'm not afraid of $1,000 suit, believe me. I mean, I think they forget sometimes that, look, I'm not a powder puff. I'm no longer the man I used to be. I don't want to commit violence or anything like that. I'll be damned if some dude in a $1,000 suit is going to try to intimidate me by saying he wants to subpoena this or that, or because he knows who my wife is. I mean, that's a way to say, hey, we know who your wife is. You know, we know where you live. Well, on the same token, you know, those things apply to them as well. This is a really slippery slope that defense attorneys have begun using. And it's like, almost as if the attorneys are threatening me. That's how I feel, you know? They're doing it in the legal sense, but it's no less a threat and an attempt to intimidate me. So I gotta shelter my wife from all that, which is another complexity in my life. The work that I do as an expert witness in front of case court, I have to protect my wife from that. And And you get these sleazy ass attorneys that want to shatter that sense of neutrality, you know? In prison we had this thing where you didn't kill guys in the visiting room because there was neutrals on the families were there. They had nothing to do with it. In fact, the Mexican Mafia has a standing rule that it won't whack people unless they're part of the gang. So they're not going to go whack, you know, your nephew who's a Harvard student or a kid who's in Cal State Long Beach, who's your son or something. They're not going to do that unless they're gang members or they're part of the infrastructure of the Mexican Mafia. But now these lower level Sureños are getting their attorneys to go investigate former Mexican Mafia members' family members. In effect, these lower level soldiers don't really understand that that's a rule violation, that you don't mess with people's families. You know, and I went through this in a couple cases already where they have to delve into my kids, my wife, my family. And if they only knew how much the real Mexican Mafia members frown upon this, they don't like it because honestly, it looks terrible to a jury. It looks terrible to law enforcement. And if something were to happen to a witness's family, oh, good Lord, there'd be such law enforcement scrutiny and heat that they couldn't function anymore. So the thing is that they lowered themselves to the threat. You know, when I was a Mexican Mafia member, only the weak, only the insecure, only the doubtful issued threats. Mexican Mafia wasn't about threats, it was about action. But these guys, I mean, they'll make threats, they'll posture, they'll act like tough guys. And not for a second do they intimidate me. Not for a second do the attorneys intimidate me. Not for a second will I hesitate to get on that stand and testify to the truth. So that's something, it's just another thing I have to show my wife from, just being in this world. So it's just in a sense, you know, there's so many stresses that I have to deal with. So many things that I have to do. So many things I have to protect against. You know, I'm not physically afraid of myself. I'm not. I mean, I was afraid every day that I was a mobster for 17 years. I'm afraid of everything. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I lacked self-confidence. I depended upon others for validation. Those are real things that occurred. You know, once I was out, I realized I didn't have to do that. Now, all I have to do is focus on my family, doing what's right, doing what makes me feel good. Not in the hedonistic sense, but in a sense that's pro-social. So the things I do now, they really make me feel good. You know, the jailer right now was telling me that when somebody tells you you're a good man, that's the best compliment in the world. A woman telling you you're a good man is the best compliment in the world. And I'm getting there. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me I'm a good man and what I do is the right thing. And that feels great. It feels wonderful. It's better than money. It's better than any praise from any dope fiend, Mexican Mafia member, or freaking gang member telling me I'm a good guy. That I'm a solid camarada. That's worthless crap because they don't even believe their own rhetoric. They don't even hear their own rules. It's just ridiculous. So what I do now is wonderful. You know, come in here, burn out, stress, constructively, I don't go kill people, I don't target people. All the things I used to do, I don't do those things no more. And I'm happy for it. I'm extremely, extremely happy for it. But here, in the gym, is where I think through these processes. This is my whole processing plant right here. Thoughts and stresses and anxieties. Like that issue right there, when it first came up, attorneys, you know, attempted to delve into my family. You know, I understand that they have a need to impeach me. They want to try to discredit me. And I understand that's their responsibility. That's their profession, that's their job as a defense attorney, criminal defense attorney. But to bring family into it. There was one guy named Matt Fletcher. He was attacking my mother, my father, just saying horrible stuff about them when I was on the stand. Literally, the guy's a piece of shit. I don't care if he hears that. That guy's a piece of shit. Just a sleazy, slimy, unethical, immoral moral turd, you know? And I've never met somebody who bowed so low. I've met some very, very hardcore defense attorneys, and they attack. And I walked away shaky because they're good. And I respect their profession. I respect they're tenacious, they're formidable opponents on the stand. They know their jobs. But they don't resort to sleaziness, family members, these other things. It's almost like this Matt Fletcher guy thought he was going to have a Perry Mason moment. You know, grandiose posturing and yelling in the court and slamming things. That was a joke. Is it really, dude? In my mind, I'm thinking while I'm testifying is, do you really think you intimidate me, dude? Do you really think I'm afraid of your yelling, your posturing, your glares? It was ridiculous. Some of these guys really think that they possess the ferocity and their ability to articulate to calm me. Look, I'm not Superman, you know? I'm human, and I'm vulnerable just like anybody else. But, come on, man. This is a rough and tough business. You know, no attorney's gonna make me afraid. I mean, why should I fear when I'm up there testifying to the truth? And I testified for the defense as quickly as I testified for the prosecution. The thing is, I want to accept money for my testimony. All my testimony is pro bono. So, you know, the thing is, I won't scold my testimony. So I'm unbiased either way. And the thing is, I told defense attorneys, I told a number of them, look, I'll testify for you. I'll evaluate your communications for your case, but just as the prosecution has to disclose all my findings over to you, I'm requesting that you turn over all of my findings to them. Make it a plain and objective playing field. That's the only way I'll work for defense, because it's the same rules that apply to the prosecution. So, surprisingly, none of them are taking me up. They like to pay experts to say what they want to say about specific interpretations or gang information. That's not my thing. I just testify the truth. That's it. I don't care if that hurts the prosecution or helps the prosecution. The truth is the truth. And that's all there is to it. So, when I meet these little sleazeball cocksuckers, defense attorneys that want to do sleazy stuff, you know, it's pretty enraging to see them stoop to this stuff, thinking that it's Perry Mason 101. Or they're going to break me, snap me, or intimidate me. They're not. They're not going to do that. That's just not going to happen. I've done a number of these cases already, and I will continue doing them as long as I'm needed. I think it's part of my process. I'm not looking to get even with the mob. I have no animosity towards the Mexican Mafia. I have none of that. I left willingly. You know, I have compassion for some of those guys. I wish I could convince them to come out. I wish there was something I could tell them. In fact, I've made numerous videotapes where I've convinced Mexican Mafia members to defect. Other guys that are under investigation, you know, I'll talk to them, to the investigators, and tell them, look, man, family members in trouble, whatever it is I tell them, it's a true message from the heart. So I do have compassion for these guys. You know, I have no animosity towards them. This is just what I do. It's part of my process for paying back for all that I've done. And I'll continue to do it for the rest of my life. Until either the mob kills me, or I die of natural causes. That's just the way it's going to be. That's just how it is. I think it's my obligation, form of restitution. Although none have been imposed upon me by the courts, I'm under no legal obligation to testify. I do so voluntarily. I do so without immunity. You know, and I do so at great peril to myself and my family. But I think that's part of it, man. You got to pay back so much more than you've taken, because that's what good people do. Well, I've been going for a while now. Let's see what the clock says. Oh, good Lord. About 30 minutes. I got about another 30 minutes to go, actually. I think right now, I am going to probably start doing push-ups. As I break it up, when I do this is anaerobic. I'll jump on the bike, do a couple miles. I'll jump down, do some weights. Jump on the bike, do a couple miles. Jump down, do some push-ups. They just mix it up. So it's different. It's got to be different. You know, you don't want to get stuck in a routine doing the same thing every day. It just becomes becomes so monotonous, and that's not what I want to do. So I guess that'll do it on my recordings. From here I'm going to the shower. Shower's right behind me, about 30 feet away. Another enclosed environment with metal flaps on the windows so nobody can see in, which is very great for privacy. So many women work here. I think it would be untoward or uncouth of me to just shower out and open. You know, there's cameras everywhere in here. So I got to take precautions to kind of like be overly modest, because for their sake, my sake as well, for my own human dignity. But no woman wants to see a man showering. No woman wants to see a man going to the restroom in his cell. So when I do those things, I put blinders up on the windows. You know, even though there's a camera in the cell, I'm sure that nobody's fixated to a camera monitor somewhere in the jail watching me go to the restroom or wash up or whatever. So I try to afford them the same dignity that I want to feel. You know, they're human beings. That's somebody's wife. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's girlfriend. That's somebody's daughter. These jailers are good people. You know, and I've learned that the cops aren't my enemies. And it took me a long time to learn that process. The cops aren't enemies. You know, normal people having babies. You know, there's one jailer here, Mrs. Danielle Holt. Her husband works here as well. She's pregnant right now. She's working light duty. But she was so nice. The way she talked to inmates would start cussing and yelling at her. And she would just lower her voice. What's wrong? Why are you upset? But she wasn't a punk. She was a toughie, like Mrs. Conklin. She's really easygoing. But she knows where that line is drawn. If an inmate goes past that line, I've heard her before. She will roar up. She's not afraid. Which is pretty freaking admirable, because these girls are little tiny girls. You know, they're not from, the gyms with all these muscle-bound she-men. You know, that's not the way these are. Just women, like normal women. But they carry themselves well, that quiet dignity and that silent ferocity that they possess. But almost to a T, all of them are quiet. They speak to inmates softly, and it diffuses 99.9% of all situations. But in that 1/100th of a percent, there's an inmate who won't listen to reason, and you can hear him roar up. You know, the jailers will not tolerate any talk. So, anyways, that's my spiel for the day. I'm gonna start working out hard now because it's distracting me. All right, again, I'm gonna do room tone here. This is room tone. All right, that'll do it. And today's date is December 18th, 2014. There you have it, folks. One more down, one more weekend. We will continue to produce these videos for the weekend for you guys as long as we can. We know that there are weekend warriors out there that wait until 6 o'clock in the morning and then watch the video, and we are here for you because you're there for us. It's because of you guys that the channel is what it is, and we're nearing 50,000. I think we're going to hit it this month. We're going to have some great giveaways, got a bunch of stuff and some swag. I'm sure you guys will enjoy what I give away. I got to figure out how I'm going to give it away and to who, and I think I'm going to leave that up to my editor, because if it was up to me, I just pick all the female subscribers, and they would be the only winners there are. All right, folks, just keeping it real. You guys have a wonderful Sunday. Stay safe. Peace out.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser.